Hey everyone, in this tutorial we're gonna learn how to create these great 3D flip animations in Framer. As we scroll, the banner's left and right parts are being flipped as you see, and also our sections have a great 3D animation, right? You can check the description for the Framer file to remix and practice. So let's get started. We have some static elements that I created previously to keep the tutorial shorter, like the top navigation bar, banner, section card, and the button stack at the very bottom. To create the diagonal cut shape of the banner's left and right pieces, I basically created a rectangle shape with the graphic tool like this, pressing G to select the graphic tool easily, and then selecting rectangle tool. And just creating a simple rectangle and double clicking it to edit its path and selecting the bottom right corner and moving it towards left with the left arrow key. Then for the right part of the banner, I just duplicated the rectangle I have and mirrored it both horizontally and vertically, double clicking it again, and then selected both right top and bottom corners and move them to the right, either right arrow key, or you can just increase the X position of it like this. And then all I need to do is just moving them closer to create a banner shape with a diagonal cut, right? So that was basically how I created it. Also, I added a scroll effect to the top wrap stack. Basically, I put both top nav and banner in the same stack called top wrap to be able to hide the navigation and show only the banner when I scroll downwards. And the down scroll effect was just adding a negative Y offset, just enough to hide the top bar, as you see. When I scroll upwards, the nav bar shows again. So yeah, these are the pre-made elements that I want to talk about. We're gonna start with converting this banner frame to a component. So after right-clicking it, I'll just click Create Component, and in the component screen, I'll click the plus button next to the only variant I have to create a second variant, and then I will select BG under the icon wrap in the new variant, and on the right panel under transforms, I'm gonna change its X rotation value under 3D to -180. As you see in the static version of the banner component, I've entered some rotation values to keep the rotation at the same direction. Of course, since the icon is going to be rotated, as I included it in the BG frame to also animate it, I'm going to select the icon there, and under transforms, I'm gonna enter 180 for this rotation to rotate it back to its original position. And lastly, for the icon, while it is still selected, under the material component properties, I will change it to insides. Time to flip the right part of the banner. So I will select the BG frame under the H wrap and enter -180 for its X rotation value. And lastly, change the text to UX Research and Design. Notice I kept the text out of the animated BG part at right to keep it fixed and readable. I realized that I forgot to enter 360 rotation for the Y value of the left part of our banner to make the animation more interesting. So we are basically in each variant rotating left and right backgrounds of our banner 180 degrees around the X-axis, and also we are rotating left part of our banner 360 degrees around the Y-axis to keep the animation more interesting. So I'm gonna go ahead and create other variants cloning the previous one in each step and make the required changes, including rotations and icon and text changes, to complete all of the variants. Now that we have finished all the variants we need and transformations and changes in each one for our banner component, we can go back to home screen and create our section component, right? Since it also has all the static elements we need. So after right clicking into it, I'm just going to click create component, and in the component screen we can start creating variables and variants for section component. So after selecting the material icon, to be able to change it within the section component properties, I'm gonna assign its name to a variable by creating one, and I'm gonna change its name to icon, leaving its default value at web. So we can go ahead and create other variables. First, I'm gonna select the list item 1 and click in the content under the text section. I'm gonna hover over create variable and select formatted text and change its variable name to item 1, and since it's not going to be a bullet list item anymore, I'm gonna add a hyphen before it to keep it as a list item and continue assigning other list items to variables. So again, create variable, formatted text, item 2, hyphen. I'm gonna select the third one, again under the text section, create variable, formatted text, item 3, and lastly I'm gonna add a hyphen before the text I have. Now we can create the second variant of our section component, right? So after selecting it, either clicking the plus next to it or by just duplicating it, we can just make the changes we need in second variant. In this case, I'm just going to change its background to dark blue too. As we've completed creating section component and its properties, we can duplicate it and edit its content, right? So after going back to home screen, I'll duplicate the section, and in the second one, I'm gonna start changing its variant and properties. First, after changing its variant, I'm gonna change its icon to insights. And then also I'm gonna change its list items that I've generated with ChatGPT. As I used in one of the previous tutorials, I'll leave a link in the description and probably put a card above for the video. In this one, we also need to use separate scroll trigger frames to sync the animation of the banner and the sections in the viewport in the way we want. So I will create a frame and name it trigger, make its position absolute, change its width to 200 to be able to comfortably select it, and make its height 400, basically half of the section height. Then I will align it to the bottom right of the section, and I'm going to continue changing its properties at the right panel. First, I'm gonna add a pointer event, leaving its value at none, and remove its field to make sure that it is just an invisible non-interactive element that we can use as a trigger scroll section. Of course, I need to add a scroll section. I'm just gonna simply name it 1 to make it clear that it is the trigger element for the first section. And I'm gonna go ahead and duplicate it for each section. And of course, I'm gonna also change their scroll sections. Now that we have all of the trigger sections, after selecting the banner component, we can create a scroll variant effect, right? I'm gonna select section and view as trigger, and I'm gonna change viewport to bottom as when the next section is at the bottom of the viewport, which is section 2. We want transition to banner component's second variant to happen, and I'm gonna go ahead and add other sections and variants. So let's test our banner animation. And as I see it, it happens too fast. Actually, what I think is if we make it slower, like actually 2 seconds was optimal. So let's see. It looks way more interesting this way, right? Even though our design and scroll animations are pretty much completed, we can apply some scroll transform to our sections to improve the look. But first I'll select all of the sections including the one at the very bottom, which is buttons wrap. And at the right panel under transforms, I'm gonna first add a perspective value, and I'm gonna leave its value at default. And then what I need is an origin value, and I'm gonna make its y value 0, since we want the rotation at the y axis to happen at the very top of the element. And while all the sections that I need to animate are still selected, I'm gonna add a scroll transform effect to them. And I'm gonna change the trigger to section in view, and I'm gonna make sure the viewport is again at the bottom, and I'm gonna make the section 1, considering the first one, of course. I'm gonna continue making other customizations, and I'm gonna change the section property for each of the section component instances later. So under from, I will make both opacity and scale 0.8, and I'm gonna click 3D and enter -20 for the X value. And of course, I need to make sure opacity and scale is set the one under 2 settings. Now all I need to do is change in the triggers for each section's scroll effects, right? Which is going to be for the second section, it's going to be section 2. For the third one, 3, and so on. Let's check our animation. As you see, also our sections have a great 3D animation, right? Sync of the banners and the sections work also in a great way. Hope you liked the tutorial. Be sure to subscribe, turn the notifications on, and check my other tutorials at the end screen. See you in the next one.